In 1940, a group of British pilots prepared to defend their country against the largest air force in the world, and most of them were barely in their 20s. They were young, and most had never seen combat before. But they knew something that gave them clarity. They knew exactly what they were defending. Now, fast forward to today. Many young men who were the same age as those pilots were lack that clarity, and many feel lost. Not weak and not incapable, just unsure where they fit. And that raises a difficult question. Why do so many young men today feel like they're drifting through life without any direction? If you talk honestly with men today, like I have, men in their 20s and 30s, a pattern will start to appear. Many of them are not lazy. They work jobs and they try to stay in shape, and they want to build something meaningful. Really, what men today want is not much different than what men wanted 50, 100, or 200 years ago. But beneath the surface of men today, there is often a quiet uncertainty. There's no clear path, no clear expectations. And previous generations of men had many things already defined for them. Their responsibilities were obvious. Those responsibilities included providing for their families, protecting their country, building something stable for the next generation. But today, the message many young men hear is very different. They're told to delay commitment, delay responsibility, delay adulthood, and stay comfortable. Keep your options open. And when everything is optional, nothing feels meaningful. And a man without responsibility does not feel free. He feels adrift, like his life has no meaning. There's a story from the early days of World War II that illustrates something important about direction. In 1940, Nazi Germany began bombing Great Britain. Night after night, cities burned, and factories were destroyed, and homes were flattened. Britain's very survival depended on a relatively small group of young fighter pilots. Many of them were between the ages of 19 and 25 years old. I want you to think about that for a moment. At an age when many young men today are still trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives, these young men were flying into combat against overwhelming odds. And yet, something remarkable happened. They did not collapse under the pressure. They rose to meet it. And the reason wasn't because they were fearless. Many of them openly admitted that they were terrified. But fear wasn't the defining force in their lives. Purpose was. And they understood something clearly. If they failed, their country might fall. And that clarity gave them direction. Responsibility sharpened them. Purpose steadied them. And there's an important lesson hidden inside that story. Men do not become strong by avoiding responsibility. They become strong by carrying it. In modern culture, men are often told that responsibility is something they should try to escape. But historically, responsibility is exactly what formed men. Responsibility gives structure to life. It tells a man, your actions matter. Your choices matter. Someone is counting on you. And without that weight, a man often drifts. Not because he lacks ability, but because he lacks something worth sacrificing for. And sacrifice is what gives meaning. Even Scripture reflects this idea. We read in Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. The strength is forged through challenge, through responsibility, through being needed. So what does that mean for men today? You probably won't be defending your country in a fighter plane, but the principles still apply. Direction often comes after responsibility, not before it. And many young men wait until they feel ready before taking on responsibility. But historically, men become ready because they stepped into responsibility. So if you feel lost, here are a few questions worth asking yourself. Where are you needed? Who depends on you? What weight could you carry that you're currently avoiding? It might be taking your work more seriously, or mentoring someone younger than you. Maybe it means serving in your church or starting a family, or building something meaningful in your community. You see, responsibility has a strange effect on men. It wakes something up inside of them. It forces growth. It sharpens character. And often, It brings clarity, not instantly, but steadily. Many young men today aren't lost because they're weak. They're lost because they've been told to avoid the very things that give life direction: responsibility, sacrifice, commitment. The men of previous generations didn't wait until they felt perfectly prepared. You're never going to be perfectly prepared. They stepped forward when they were needed. And in so doing, they became the man history remembers. And that same opportunity, it still exists today. Not necessarily on the battlefield, but in everyday life. So here's the simple question: what responsibilities are you willing to carry? Because the moment a man chooses something worth sacrificing for, he stops drifting and he begins to stand firm. My name is Dennis Gill, and this is the Faith and Fortitude channel. I started this channel to help men build conviction, discipline, and steady character in uncertain times. And if you got something out of it, please consider liking and subscribing and forwarding it on to someone you think might benefit from it. And remember, faith first and fortitude always. Now go out and become the man you were created to be.